Welcome to the deep dive. You know, staying informed these days is, well, it's key, isn't it? And today we're tackling something pretty central to that. How artificial intelligence is getting really involved in creating and pushing out disinformation, fake news.
Absolutely. It's
Mhm.
getting harder to tell what's real online, and understanding AI's role in all this is, frankly, essential for anyone trying to navigate it.
Couldn't agree more. So we've been digging into this really interesting piece from Observer Point. It just came out April 20th, 2025, called The Algorithmic Lie: AI's Role in Disinformation and Fake News.
Hmm. Sounds timely.
Yeah. And our mission here for this deep dive is basically to pull out the core insights. We want to give everyone listening a clearer picture of, how AI is really changing the game for fake news, how it's made, how it spreads, the challenges in actually spotting it, and maybe what we can do about it.
Right. Where do we start? The sheer volume.
Exactly. The article jumps right in, talking about the speed and scale, how AI can just churn out disinformation way faster and much bigger than ever before. It's a totally different situation compared to the old ways, right?
Oh, fundamentally different. Yeah.
Mhm.
The piece really stresses that before this kind of advanced AI, making convincing fake stuff took real human effort, time, skills, money.
A lot of resources, yeah.
Exactly. But now, with these powerful AI models, especially things like natural language processing,
Yeah.
AI understanding and writing text and image and video synthesis,
Mhm.
generating fake visuals, those barriers are just dropping like stones.
It's like the fake news factory got this huge, terrifying upgrade. Suddenly, these AIs can write text that sounds completely human, make images that look real at first glance, or even those deep fake videos.
The deepfakes are particularly worrying.
They really are. And it just makes it so much harder for the average person, for us to look at something online and know for sure if it's genuine or if it's, AI generated.
Precisely. And this ties into what the article says about generative AI specifically. These models, they're trained on just enormous amounts of data, text, images, everything.
Right.
And what's really potent is how they can learn to mimic writing styles, specific tones, and then build narratives that feel incredibly targeted.
Okay, so it's not just generic fake news blasts anymore. It's more like AI can figure out what buttons to push for specific groups or even individuals and then craft the perfect piece of disinformation just for them.
That's the danger, yes. It allows these malicious actors to create these highly tailored campaigns,
Wow.
designed specifically to manipulate public opinion on a certain issue or just sow discord generally.
Which makes it way more persuasive, I imagine, and harder to spot if it feels like it's speaking directly to your concerns or biases.
Exactly. More persuasive, harder to detect. And the article makes a really crucial point here. The sophistication of the AI doing the generating. It's advancing so fast that our traditional ways of detecting fake news are really struggling to keep up. It's a constant race.
An arms race almost. And the fallout from this, the article points out, it's not just like one problem area. It hits different sectors pretty hard. Politics is maybe the most obvious one.
Yeah, that often comes up first. The article definitely highlights the potential for these sophisticated AI campaigns to, well, mess with democratic processes, undermine elections, erode trust in institutions. You can easily see how targeted voter manipulation could work.
We're just making online political discussions even more toxic and polarized than they already are.
hmm But it's not just politics. Think about the financial markets.
Right.
The article suggests a well-timed, believable piece of fake financial news generated by AI.
Could cause panic selling or pump up a stock based on nothing. Yeah, that's scary. Significant market volatility just from fabricated info.
It's a very real possibility.
Yeah,
And then there's public health. We saw how damaging misinformation was during the pandemic, right?
absolutely.
Well, imagine that amplified by AI, creating even more convincing, more widely spread false narratives about diseases, treatments, vaccines. The consequences could be incredibly severe.
What really stands out from the article is that idea of personalization again, how contextually relevant it can be. It's not a scattergun, it's like a sniper rifle.
A good analogy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have the delivery mechanism, social media. The article points out how these platforms, even while they connect us, are just perfect amplifiers for this stuff.
Yeah, they're built for speed and reach.
Exactly. And it's not just that people share things. The article talks about algorithmic amplification, the way the platforms themselves push content.
Okay, let's dig into that a bit. So the algorithms, they're designed to keep us engaged, right? Show us stuff that gets a reaction.
Precisely. They often prioritize content that's sensational or emotionally charged. And let's face it, fake news often ticks those boxes perfectly. It's designed to provoke outrage or fear, or strong agreement.
So the algorithm sees this engaging content and pushes it out to more people, not realizing or maybe not caring initially that it's actually disinformation.
That's the dynamic the article describes. And the result is that this AI-fabricated news can reach huge audiences incredibly quickly. Often, it spreads far and wide before fact-checkers even have a chance to debunk it.
It's that old saying, isn't it? A lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get its boots on.
Pretty much sums it up. Which leads us to the next big challenge the article raises. Detection. How on earth do we reliably spot this stuff when it's so realistic, so targeted, and spreading so fast?
It sounds like a massive headache.
It is a significant hurdle, yeah. Because the very things that make AI disinformation effective, how real it looks and sounds, how it can adapt, the sheer volume, those are the exact things that make it so hard to catch with, let's say, older methods.
So what are people doing? Fact-checking groups must be working overtime.
They are constantly developing new techniques, but like we said, it often feels like they're playing catch-up because the AI generation tech is evolving so rapidly.
So what technical approaches are being tried? The article mentions a few things.
Yeah, it touches on things like analyzing language patterns, looking for subtle statistical differences, maybe, between human writing and AI text, or examining images and videos for tiny inconsistencies, digital artifacts that might give away their artificial origin.
Like digital watermarking or tracing where content came from.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to trace the source, looking for those digital fingerprints. But, and this is the kicker the article emphasizes.
The AI keeps getting better.
Right. The models learn. They learn from attempts to detect them. They get refined. Their output becomes more human-like, more flawless. So the bar for detection just keeps getting higher and higher.
It feels a bit relentless. So faced with all this, what can we actually do? What countermeasures does the article propose? It sounds like it can't be just one simple fix.
No, definitely not. The article is clear. It needs a multifaceted approach. Collaboration is key. Tech developers, policymakers, educators, the public, everyone needs to be involved.
Okay, so on the tech side, better detection tools, presumably.
Yes, absolutely. Developing more robust AI-powered detection tools is crucial, kind of fighting fire with fire, using AI to spot malicious AI.
That makes sense. But what about the creation side? Can we influence how the AI is built or used in the first place?
That's where guidelines and ethics come in. The article stresses the need for clear ethical frameworks for AI development and deployment, trying to build in safeguards, or at least standards, to discourage misuse for creating disinformation.
Right, building responsible AI. But even with the best tech and guidelines, some stuff will get through. So what about us, the people consuming the information?
That's hugely important. The article highlights promoting media literacy and critical thinking skills, essentially empowering individuals.
So teaching people how to be more critical of what they see online, how to check sources, spot manipulation techniques.
Exactly. Building a more resilient public, less easily swayed by sophisticated fakes. If people are better equipped to evaluate information critically, the disinformation loses some of its power.
And what about the platforms, social media? They're the main conduits.
They have a massive role. Yeah. The article calls for more transparency and accountability from them. Transparency about how their algorithms amplify content and taking more responsibility for the spread of fake news on their sites.
That's always a tricky balance, isn't it? Content moderation versus free speech. But accountability seems key.
It does. And finally, because this stuff ignores borders completely.
International cooperation.
Definitely. The article points out that malicious actors often operate across countries. So you need international collaboration to track them, to share detection methods, to develop common strategies. It has to be a global effort.
Makes sense. And the article concludes by saying this is an ongoing thing, right? AI keeps evolving, so our response has to keep evolving too. We can't just find one solution and stick with it.
Precisely. It requires a dynamic, adaptive approach, constant vigilance, constant innovation in how we tackle it.
Okay, so let's try and boil this down. What we've taken from this deep dive into the algorithmic lie is AI is now a seriously powerful tool for creating fake news. It's making it more realistic, more widespread, more targeted than ever.
And this poses real threats to democracy, finance, public health, you name it.
Detecting it is super challenging because the AI is so good and getting better all the time.
Right. But there are ways forward. It needs a combined effort. Better tech for detection, clear ethical rules for AI development, educating the public.
Making platforms more accountable and working together internationally. It's a whole system approach.
Exactly. It really is.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings us to a final thought, maybe for everyone listening to chew on.
Yeah, this is the part that sticks with you. If AI can create versions of reality that are increasingly indistinguishable from the real thing, what does that mean for us? What fundamental shifts do we need in how we approach information? How we decide what or who to trust?
How do we maintain any kind of shared understanding of truth when reality itself can be so convincingly fabricated?
It really forces you to think about your own role, doesn't it? How you navigate this landscape. Are we all going to need to become, I don't know, digital detectives in our own lives?
Yeah.
Well, it's something to ponder. Definitely something to
Hmm.
keep thinking about.